Hello, heathens.
Hello, heathens. We are talking today about Mo. Wait, I forgot how to say it.
You
I don't
keep
want to get
adding
in
an
trouble.
L.
I don't want
Okay,
to. There's a
so
lot of controversy.
yeah, we're talking about basically the autumnal equinox,
Hmm.
and there is controversy about the word and how to say it. And I would like to just point out I am not Welsh.
I'm
I
not
speak
Welsh.
English, and English is broken. We know this. A lot of us pronounce words that are not correctly. And if you want to get really down to brass tacks, we're fucking heathens and we have dyslexia. We are dyslexic heathens. For us, Nicole keeps adding an L. For us to say it the right way, we'll apologize greatly to those that care about us saying it right. But we're dyslexic heathens. We can barely say regular words that we should know right.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I hear so right too because I want to call it Melbourne all the
Melbon,
time.
she's been
Every
calling
day
it
of my life.
Melbon. I'm like, where's
Melbourne
the L
all my
at?
life. It's there. I
It's
swear.
there. So there's controversy about whether it's Mabon or Mabon, or you heard it another way. I'm gonna call it Mabon because that's what's been said to myself.
Hmm.
Nicole's gonna call it Melbon because she swears there's an L in there. And we're just gonna give a universal apologies to those that are like, why can't you say it right? We've not
Sorry,
been taught. And the
heathens.
internet's not exactly the best place for it, and TikTok yells at me. So
Right. So now that being said, uh yeah, we're celebrating the autumn equinox.
yeah. The autumn equinox is really close to my close.
Close,
See, it's
close.
close. It's close to my
How dare you? I'm
birthday.
so offended.
That was so funny.
Shame on you.
See, it's just if you haven't listened to us before, welcome to the Heathens for the People podcast.
Listen,
We
we don't
can't say
know.
words.
We don't know. We're just here
We're
to
just here,
to
man.
talk.
Some of you like to listen to us talk, so I've heard. So
Poor
weird.
people. Poor people.
Yeah. Those that like to listen to us talk, we appreciate you, but also what is wrong with you? I'm just kidding.
The same thing that's wrong with us, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
seriously. Accurate. Okay, so Mabon, like I said, it's the holiday that this celebrates the autumnal equinox, correct? And here in Michigan and in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going to celebrate it. Well, in the US, we're going to celebrate it on September 23rd, which
Sorry,
is
I love.
during Libra season, baby.
Yeah.
Um, so go ahead. What I'd like for you to tell them if this is where you were going though, is
I probably was.
where this holiday came from, because there's a whole backstory just so you guys know on how this holiday even came to
It's
fruition.
it's so funny to me because this was really I didn't expect, all the other like holidays, they're all like, this is what you do, and you put the maple up and you celebrate togetherness and community and the abundance of the earth and blah 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 blah, right?
Yep.
I went on TikTok today and was like, what the hell? So apparently Melbourne has been not always, it's not in a traditional holiday. Basically they put it in around the 70s to kind of balance out the wheel so that we had something to celebrate on the equinox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so apparently there's like, you could celebrate it, you could not celebrate it. I mean, you could do whatever you want with this.
I mean, let's be honest, you could do whatever you want with every fucking holidays out there. Because let's
Absolutely.
let's
I
also be
do.
honest, when it comes to like modern world, I love you, but what the fuck is Valentine's Day? And why do we need it other than to spend money?
It's my anniversary.
That's why I said I love you, but that holiday always just feels so gimmicky, and it doesn't feel like a day that's like actually about love. It's more about like how much, what did you buy me, and what did you
Well,
get
yeah,
me, and what are you gonna do for me?
it's very much that commercial materialism kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of like why we actually got married on that day, was just to like, oh, now I'll finally get something on Valentine's Day, you know?
I do have to say, you have given me a lot of reasons to celebrate holidays that I was not a fan of before. Like now I'll celebrate your anniversary because like that's
Hmm.
cool that it's on a holiday I don't care for. Your birthday, actually, I have never been a big fan of New Year's. I find it to be words are evading me, but I've never liked it, but now I do because it's my best
Mm-hmm.
friend's birthday, baby. Now
And
I have a reason to celebrate.
New Year's has always been, and I know this probably will sound like shocking, but like New Year's has always been super special to me because like it, if we really embody what it means to like start over, like especially since we're going into Capricorn season out of like this huge Sagittarius and expansion area, and you can see it in the earth, right? How we spend so much and we socialize so much. Everything is expanded and big and jolly, and that's that Jupiter energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go right into Capricorn, which is funny to me because then we're like, you've heard it in the back room, on TV, whatever. Every January, everybody has to go on a diet. It's dry January.
New
Like, no
year,
wonder
new
nobody
me.
hates fucking January. Like,
Yeah.
we can't drink anymore because we drank it all in December. And then we spent all our money in December as well. So it's like you're budgeting, you're dieting, you're no longer an alcoholic. Like, you can't. And it's cold and dark in the northern hemisphere. I'm like,
Yeah. we're, we're just all struggling in January.
oh, it's the truth.
I actually really enjoy January because it's such a time to slow down and like recoup and
Yeah.
rebalance almost. I love Capricorn season, but also I have to say I do love Capricorns. They're like you're my best friend and you're a
Mhm.
Capricorn. One of my other best friends, we've been friends for God 13 years now, and he has a ton of Capricorn in
Oh,
him.
that's right.
And like I really enjoy Capricorn energy coming from a mostly air and water sign person. It feels
Hmm.
so good to be around like earthly people that can bring me back down to the real world, you know? It's
Like,
nice.
come on down here.
You're
It's
like, it's like a
nice.
rope on a balloon and you're pulling me
Uh-huh.
down slowly. And I'm like, let me be free. And you're like,
I,
you got too close to
mm,
the sun there, buddy. You gotta come back.
that's right. Your wings are melting. Come back down.
You're melting.
Melting. Melting.
So, okay. Um, essentially the autumnal equinox is everything harvest. You know, it's the time of the year when farmers know how well their crops did, how well fed their animals have become. And the biggest thing that I saw from this is a time for thanks. A lot of thanks, a lot of gratitude. Like this is when you start noticing all the abundance that the universe has been providing. So like if you had a garden, you're realizing like how much you got from it and
The
you're thanking
bounty.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abundance. There's this guy on TikTok who always makes me very aware of this, and he's a farmer. If I can find his TikTok, I'll give you guys his name and like our comments of our videos and stuff. This boy has the biggest, most beautiful garden. And every time that he is pulling something up from the land, he goes, abundance. And he's so excited. And I'm like, oh, I need to keep that energy of like being thankful for the things,
Hmm.
realizing the abundance around me,
Hmm.
essentially.
I like that.
Yeah.
They also call this the witches' Thanksgiving. And I don't know. I saw it a couple times. I don't know if it's like something somebody's trying to catch on, you know, or like trend it, or I don't know how serious it is, but I liked it because especially since we
Yeah.
have a bad thing about Thanksgiving now, it's kind of nice to still have a place to put that, but not necessarily so we're impinging on other people's heritage or bringing up old wounds.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually like that better because I'm not a huge Thanksgiving person, anyways, just because I'm not a comfort food person usually. But like, I like this better being the witches' Thanksgiving because it is like one of the things that I had found was they were talking about after you do your harvesting, you have a big meal to like give thanks, you know, to be
Hmm.
in that space of all of this came from like my abundance. And I think that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
with that movement, the witches' Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we could if we get our shit together, we could actually do one next year.
Oh, actually, you know what? I like that. Do like a witches Thanksgiving with all of our witchy friends and do like a potluck.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe do it here and we'll do a long table, like how they had it in midsummer, just that
Yeah,
long table of like everybody sitting around each other and stuff. I think that would be kind of cool.
that would be cool because usually around this time of the year too, it's still really nice here in Michigan. Like
Hmm.
today it was what it says it's 66 out right now, and it is so lovely.
It is really nice right now. Although the last couple days have been really weird because I like hot but cold, but also sticky.
Yeah, yeah. I kept saying it feels like when somebody takes a shower and you didn't though, but then you walk to the bathroom after they got out of the shower,
Yeah.
and it's like you could feel the cold air from the vent, but you're also in a hot, sticky room.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Oh, like it's like I don't know how to feel right
I
now.
don't like it. I don't like it. Sensory issues.
I don't like it.
So I also read that this is the second time of the year where the masculine and feminine energies are in balance and on the edge
Hmm.
we're on the edge of return to darkness because there's the same amount of
Like daylight and
darkness
uh
and light, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
daylight and
I was
night.
gonna say
Like
daylight and sunlight. I was like, no, don't say that. Those are the same thing.
seriously.
And then I was gonna go moonlight. This is what happens in my brain all at the same time. Like, no, not sunlight. Don't say that. And then I'm like moonlight, and I'm like, no, not that. What is the word?
Yeah, seriously. We don't know words in this household.
No, we mostly communicate by telepathy.
we we communicate in
Remember that one thing that one time with the thing, and she's like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like, "Perfect."
actually, yeah, no, actually, I know what you're talking about. Makes sense to me. um, okay, so we're talking about the word Mabon, as you're calling it, Melbon.
Malbon.
It comes from the Welsh god who was the son of the earth and mother goddess. So that is
Mhm.
a Welsh term. And I just think there's so many things I didn't know about this holiday because there was a point in time with our spiritual family that we were trying to celebrate every holiday.
Mhm.
And I think we've said this before when it comes to our holidays that Nicole and I didn't know what a lot of them were. We just
No,
showed up
we
for
did show up.
ceremony and to support. And so um I did not know that this was a popular time to celebrate wine making.
Making?
Yeah. Sounds like nakeding. Wine making and the deities connected to the growth of the vine, which I thought was
Ooh.
super freaking cool because I was like, oh, yeah, this is a lot of the times where we're harvesting grapes and making
Mm-hmm.
wine. Didn't think about that. Apples are also a common symbol of the second harvest. You'll see a lot of that. And you'll see like a lot of the cornucopia,
Cornucopia.
thank you. Or the horn of plenty, because that represents the
Same
balance
thing.
of the masculine and feminine energy. Because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff going in the stuff.
This stuff going into stuff.
I also thought honorable mention, because this time always reminds me of Persephone
Yep.
and her return to the underworld for the next 6 months. So pomegranates are also going to be a good symbol during this time because they symbol fertility and abundance. But they're also very closely knit with Persephone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is her fall into the underworld. And Demeter gets distraught. And then we go into 6 months of the winter.
The winter.
The
Yeah, because
winter.
Demeter's off looking for her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
wandering the world and mourning for 6 months at a time every single year. So with that, she brings us the death of the soil each fall. That's what I read, and I was like, it's so dark.
Well, and it's if we actually use, I know society likes to tell us with the winter months coming ahead how like we hate it, we don't like the cold and blah, blah, blah. And I challenge everybody to enjoy this winter because what it's supposed to do is you're supposed to retreat back on into yourself and really like clean house, get rid of the things that like mentally have not been serving you, even like habits that haven't been serving you. This is a great time to really like go forth and like look inside of yourself. Not only that, like there's some stuff that I really, really enjoy about winter. And the first of all, the fall. I really love the death of the decay of the trees. And
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm so marveled by the fact that they get reborn every year, right?
Yeah.
Because spring is so special when you start getting those little buds and they start to really wake up and stuff like that. Uh, but I think I've had some of my most magical times in the winter. Like going through a forest when it's snowing is so precious to me.
I love the winter too.
That is like, I don't know. It's like the closest thing that I can come to is like very, I don't know if cleansing's the right word, peaceful. It's the closest I've gotten to peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had that in there too, that during this time, it's a time to honor the darkness that's starting to come. Because, like, we also got to keep in mind, and we've talked about this plenty of times, there's no light without darkness, and without night, there cannot be day. So, there
Mhm.
is no spring and summer without that death for us in the area that we're in, right? Like, some people have lush all the time, but then we wouldn't have the kind of summers that we have now.
Mhm.
So, like, being thankful during that time too, it's like, it's an
Well,
honor.
it is. It really is. Because I remember going to Florida, and I think being a Michigander, you always go to Florida. Like it's the second half of Michigan, I guess.
Mhm.
And despite all the political bullshit that's going on right now. Um, but I remember being there and like, you know how you put your hand on the railing? And I remember because I'm so tactile sensitive, I remember it being oily and just being like there was a film over everything. And it made me think about
Yeah.
like that's what the winter does for us. That's how it really cleanses our earthly parts. Like it comes in and it gets rid of a lot of the stuff that is just linger and sticky on the atmosphere of everything, I guess. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I was like, oh, well, maybe that's so it made me appreciate winter more, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. Winter is beautiful. And who doesn't love a fucking snow day where you don't have to work? Let's be really honest with ourselves right now. We're all
Hmm.
complaining about it. But then guess what? That minute that we find out we can't go to work because it is way too much snow, you are happy as a mother trucker. And that's when to be thankful too.
Hmm.
I love the winter. I love the fall. I'm sick of summer. It can go. I have summer seasonal depression. I'm over it. And today feels so good. I want to frolic out in the 60-degree weather,
You don't
frolic
want
in the
any,
leaves.
I don't want anything over 70,
No,
please.
please. I feel like I'm supposed to live somewhere more northern, but it's fine. One day, Nicole and I will
Disappear into the woods.
be off in the woods, and you better believe it'll be somewhere colder than this.
Like, come and get your potions.
I'm 8 hours away to get you potions.
Hey, people have traveled a lot farther than 8 hours to get some potions,
Yeah, let's be honest. We go to freaking New Orleans for it.
right? That's
I
for sure.
we go to New Orleans for a lot more than just potions, man. I go there just to rejuvenate and
Oh,
recharge my soul.
hmm.
Need that. Um,
Yeah, the spiritual atmosphere down there is amazing.
we'll never stop saying it, man. We love
Nope.
New Orleans. Um, so there's some deities that are really big during this time, like quite a few. And outside of Demeter and Persephone and Mabon. I'm trying. But Hecate, the triple goddess,
Mm-hmm.
this is a good time to honor the crone of the triple
Yes.
goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm wondering what you could shed on the crone for us, Nicole, because you've worked with Hecate a lot, correct?
I have. Um, she's really good for us to sit in our wisdom, uh, appreciate aging and how like that cycle of life happens. Um, she's the one that guides us into uh just that grandmotherly figure or that energy, somebody that is nurturing and taking care of us that doesn't have any alternative motives but to help us, right?
Yeah.
Um, I know a lot of people are, afraid of her and of aging. But this is too, she really helps Persephone get acclimated to the underworld and helps to be I think a conduit between her and Demeter as well, because eventually she goes back and helps Demeter find Persephone
Yeah.
in some of the things, and she is the crossroad. And sometimes, especially in the winter, we can start to put in really healthy boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we had all this lushness in the summer and all this free, wild kind of energy, now we're going to go back into forming it and organizing it so it works for us in a better way as we go forward, cycling the year.
Yeah. Because what I was reading too is a good times to honor the triple goddess is the maiden is springtime, right? Everything's being born, it's young, it's fresh. And then like the middle, the heat of the summer is the mother. Good God,
Mother,
help
right?
me.
It's the fire, that energy that makes it
Yes.
grow. Like if it was a seedling in April, now we're talking it's like a full grown plant, almost ripening to whether it's apples, whether it's seeds, whatever the fruit it's offering to the world.
Yeah.
This is at the pinnacle of it.
Yep. And now we're moving into like the time of the crone. And like Nicole said, it's really good wisdom you can gain from honoring the crone of the triple moon goddess, triple head goddess, triple whatever goddess you'd like
Right.
to
And
say.
this is why people I think are a little afraid of hers because she does put those boundaries in there. And
Mhm.
sometimes, being human, it takes us a little while to understand where to put that boundary or how to keep it in there. So the first lesson that you get probably is just going to be a little bit of a slap on the hand kind of thing, or a stern, like, you shouldn't do that, like a warning.
Mhm.
And then the more we don't listen to it, the more it gets louder. And I think that's why people really don't like, because they don't listen to
Right.
it.
Well, and like it's also easy to be like, well, the crone's scary and I'm only gonna focus on the mother and the maiden. But guess what? It's all three sides of the same diamond, or
Right.
whatever you want to say, it's all the same ultimately.
It's all the same. It really is.
Yeah.
And well, we don't like the fact that she represents old. I mean, even to the fact of like, I remember I was in a group and somebody said crone, and then they were like, "Oh, that's a bad word. We're not supposed to say that." And I was like, "Oh no, 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 you think it's a bad word because society has given it a new definition. If you
Mhm.
go back to what crone really means, which I'm pretty sure it was crown, so
Mhm.
this is where you're elevated because you have the wisdom and the knowledge because you've done the things that so not only did you gain knowledge by like doing the things that you're supposed to do, now this is the past where we actually like pass it on to younger generation. And really that's how we are everlasting. That's how our souls end up on, and our knowledge and our consciousness is like, as I teach Trinity what we're, how to be an adult, how to like get through life. She picks up these from other things. She evolves into her own person
Mhm.
with my beginnings kind of thing, or what
Yes.
I've been through in the beginnings. This also reminds me of, do you remember listening to Halloween from Know Thyself?
I don't
Do
think
you
I ever
remember?
did. Unless
Uh,
that was a really old episode, then no, I do
it
not
was,
remember.
it was, but it reminds me of it because there's a huge story that they really covered into it that I've only heard from them. It was a really good story about how we are going into fall and how this talks about almost the fall of um our fall from Eden is represented in this part of the wheel. So we're
Hmm.
falling into winter, into death, and then transforming back into life when spring comes. But I think if you guys are inspired to, is especially with the season of Halloween coming up right now, it's one of the history lessons that I have not heard from anybody else. So it was really cool to like have them unfold that kind of information.
Heck yeah. I'll have to listen to it again. I haven't. There's so many episodes, and for a while there, I was listening to every single one as soon as I was done with the next, and I got through quite a lot of them. But then
Yeah.
once we hit alchemy, I had to let that marinate, and then I could
Yeah.
get it back. But that was kind of where I fell off a little bit because the teachings of alchemy that they did were so good, so thorough, so
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
And I was trying to let that all soak in. And it definitely has, but I want to go back. I've been thinking about that, but I'm also involved in books right now, so like I'm like, there's
Yeah, I know.
I
I know.
just
As
need to
soon as
be
I
a
get one,
stay-at-home wife.
as soon as seriously, I
Jesus.
just need somebody to pay me to stay home and research is what I
Yes.
need.
Yes. Same.
Yeah, because as soon as you could get one book, then I got another book. I'm like, they're not supposed. Did I get it wet? What happened? Why
It's
is it
all
multiplying?
how did you get it wet? It's through the ether.
It's for the ether.
Is there is there moisture in the ether?
Maybe I don't know.
Makes me
I don't
so
know what
crazy.
it's made of.
I'm like, here's another book, and here's 5 other things I need to do. And now I have to go make friends with trees. And then on top of that, I have to like, I want to listen to more podcasts. And there's just, I keep saying this because this is something I feel very, very good about saying about myself is that when I am an old lady, I am going to be a plethora of information to the point that I'm going to sound a little crazy because you might not be at the level to understand what I'm saying. Because the amount of research and the amount of learning that I have done in the past year alone, 2 years alone, is
Right,
so
right.
much.
Well, and that's the thing is like then you'll see somebody and you'll just like laugh and walk away because you're like,
Baby. Ha ha ha.
ha, ha, ha.
Oh.
I'm like, oh God.
Um, I thought along with winemaking, another deity whom Nicole adores and who adores Nicole, that this is a big time for is the god of the vine. And
Mm-hmm.
it's Dionysus. And a
Dionysus.
really simple thing to do to make sure you're honoring him is go to a winery and partake in some wine in his name.
Aw. He's been so helpful for me.
Heck yeah. Well, this is a good time to like, you know, I've always wanted to make my own wine. We have a friend who has made her own wine, and her dad also did it with her. And I've thought about asking them how to do it because I think that would be really cool is like to make our
Mm-hmm.
own wine and you could like totally infuse it like with some Dionysus energy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That could be really cool.
That would be cool.
And like this would be a good time to do it, would be during like the autumnal equinox.
Well, my dad does it too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look at this. I have a plethora of people that know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm
We
sure
could,
YouTube could tell me, but
well, yeah, but he's got all the stuff. We could just go over there and make a thing of wine for it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
We'll have
that'd
to
be fun.
see. We'll have to look at that and see if we can find maybe a recipe that Dionysus has or something. And then like,
I mean, you guys listening to that, doesn't that just sound so exciting that you could like make your own wine in honor of like the autumnal equinox and Dionysus and then have your own little wine night with him?
I think that sounds amazing.
That sounds like the easiest little like ritual ever.
Yeah, except you got to make wine.
That's very valid. Um, so other gods that are really big during this time are hunting gods like Artemis,
Mhm.
things like that, because this is also the time when the hunt often begins. The
Right.
deer is super highly symbolic during this time. The antlers of the stag associate directly with the fertility goddess.
Hmm.
And the horn god, in his many incarnations, often appears wearing a headdress of antlers during this time, too. So you can look more into the hunt. I don't know if you wanted to give anything more on it, but the hunt is a whole thing. There are gods and goddesses that go along with it.
Hmm.
I'm more on the harvest end of the celebration than I am the hunt side. So
Well, all right. So let's unpack this just a little bit. So if you've ever watched, what's the Avatar?
with the blue people,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you remember when she um they caught something and she blessed it as she killed it, kind of thing,
Oh,
right?
she was thanking it. Yeah.
Right. To thank you for giving your life to sustain our life. And
Mm-hmm.
really, like, this is the thing, is like it's not life and or death is not bad. We have deemed death as bad, right? And even like taking a life, we have uh we don't honor these things anymore. We don't honor the ritual in it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about like goat sacrificing or anything like that. I'm talking about like literally sustaining life, right? But because we're not inactive, we're actively like in it, involved in it anymore, we forget about these like, you are putting in the magic to the animal so that it can live inside of you, right? You're literally taking it into your body and it's sustaining your life. It doesn't mean, and it's very much of a Lion King kind of thing. It's not, it's the circle of life, as like corny
Mm-hmm.
as that sounds. It really is. But we've lost the connection, the spiritual part of that because we've deemed hunting bad or wrong, right? And the thing is what it does is it puts us very close to the earth and how the earth does provide for us. I don't feel like animals are any different than plants. It's the same thing. I mean,
I
yes, they're
agree.
cuter and they're a little more intelligent than, well, don't tell the plants that. But like it's that honor because like this is what I do here, right? Like we honor the rats that we have that we feed to the snakes.
Mhm.
Without the rats, I can't feed my snakes. Does that mean the snake gets to die because he's not a vegetarian,
Right.
right? Like,
Hmm.
and I granted, like I get like the fact that we can I don't know, I guess that's huge controversial kind of thing anyway. Basically, if you're going to take life, take it in a very honorable way and
Yeah.
honor that being and say thanks to it
Yeah.
and take a moment for it, right? Like
Hmm.
because it's just it's going to go back into the earth and it's going to somehow inform and that ends up feeding the plants in the first place. Without that kind of protein that gives into the soil needs that as well to complete the cycle. There's so much in there. It's not just dirt and clay, right? It's like all this other stuff.
Yes.
So I don't know if that made sense. So that's what I think about hunting, I guess.
Yeah, and the hunt is a bit different because it is more ritualistic when it comes to this, and that's why I was saying like do your research on it because like there's more to it, which
Mm-hmm.
obviously we also know this is a big time for the Muggles to go deer hunting.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's I'm sure part of it, but there's like more ritualness. There's a whole bunch of stories behind the hunt. So like
Mm-hmm.
if that's something that you're interested in too, man, look it up, there's a big part of this right now.
Absolutely. Because like I'm not into telling people, you can't do this and you shouldn't do this. It's more like, do it for the right reasons. Don't
Mhm.
obviously don't be sloppy at it and do it disrespectfully and kill a bunch of deer and just leave them there. Like that's not cool either. Like,
Right.
but do it in a way, there's a way to do it that is respectful. Even like, I think we were talking about this the other day, how we should have farms as being a small, localized feed, a community. And then over here, the next town, they have a couple of farms. They do it like source, how we're going back to being like, was it source, locally sourced? There we go. I was trying to be
Yeah.
dyslexic again.
Yeah.
I'm like, source locally. I'm like, that's not how that goes. Locally sourced, like, because we got too big with, like, this is my big thing about big farming is there's no soul to it. We're not thanking these beings and respecting them because we feel bad for killing them. If you nurtured this animal, this being before you would before it was time to harvest it, because I really don't think animals are meant to be old. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just feel like they don't understand what that's like, or it's more suffering for them because they're very free chaotic beings, right? Like
Hmm.
they have this like um so that's, I don't know, that's my 2 cents on that. I just really think that like there's ways to do it respectfully. Is we are not in that place at all right now.
No, and there's some good resources out there that can make you feel better about it, like Zac Efron's Down to Earth
Mm-hmm.
documentary show. He goes to Australia and they're doing it very, very well. There's like this farm he goes to, and they are one with the earth, man. They do not waste anything. They even have their animals eating from the fields in a way that helps to keep the fields alive so that they're not killing one
Yeah.
field completely down to the dirt, then going to another one, reseeding that. It's very, the way that they do it, I was like, why are we not doing this? That it's a really
Right.
good one. I think it's like season 2 or 3 is when he goes to Australia, and it was so cool to watch. Like a pig, for example, they use every single part, including the fat, to make soap. Like things that we have
Yeah.
been lost on modern, you know, culture. And it was really cool. It was really cool to watch. So if that's something that you guys like want a little bit of like
Mm-hmm.
information on. That was a cool one that could lead you into more information. It's like a little gateway drug.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, yeah, I don't, because I've never hunted before in my life, but I do respect hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think hunters have more respect than we do as consumers because
Absolutely.
meat is just in front of us. We didn't have to kill it or, do any of the dressings. So I do. I
Mm-hmm.
find I don't think hunting's bad at all. But yeah, look up the hunt. There's different rituals behind it. It's not just about hunting. There's so much more, especially with the gods and goddesses that go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of this time as well. But
Mm-hmm.
okay. Another one is I did not know why apples were important during this time. Do
Oh,
you?
maybe. I feel like there's probably a lot there. But it's harvest, right? It's like,
Well, there's a Roman goddess that is behind apples, and she's known,
oh,
I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's Pomona.
oh.
Pomona, I think is her name, and she's the keeper of orchards, not orchids, orchards, and fruit trees. And she's not necessarily associated with the harvest itself, but she is associated with the flourishing of fruit trees. And fruit trees do really well towards the end of, like, towards the beginning of fall, right? That's when we get a lot of that harvest. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why apples are so big. And she's big at this time, is because of the harvest of the apples. And
Oh,
she's
that's
the
cool.
plentifulness of them. And I was like, that's cool. I didn't
Oh,
even know
I
who the
like
hell that
that.
was.
I did watch a simmer pot for Mabon, and it was oranges, apples,
Sold already.
cinnamon, rosemary,
Yeah.
and that was the Melbourne spices of a simmer pot.
I've done almost that, but without the oranges before because I love rosemary and cinnamon together in a
Mm-hmm.
freaking simmer pot. And apples, I feel like are like apples for me are like a base in a simmer pot almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because just the smell of it,
I agree.
taste of it, the texture. Um, those are really
Apples and
cool.
cinnamon. Oh, girl.
Yeah, yeah. Especially right now. Whew. Um,
Oh, one of the tinctures I did, I did cinnamon.
oh really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
because I was like, once I got my first two that I was like, I got to do these two. Um, I was like, what else? So I did wormwood, cinnamon, St. John's, and chamomile.
Oh, I guess we'll see how they turn out, right? Because don't they have to sit for a while?
Yeah, they gotta sit 40 days. There was one more, mugwort, because
I was gonna say, I think you did
yeah,
mugwort
mugwort
too,
was it.
right?
Yeah, I did two of those. So,
Ooh la la.
oh la la.
Um, okay, so some really good things you could do right now for Mabon, Melbourne, Better. Autumnal Equinox is, of course, as always, take a walk in nature. You can
Mm-hmm.
always take some cornmeal, some spirits with you, give some offerings, talk to a freaking tree, because believe it or not, it's a thing. It really
Mm-hmm.
is. If you
Mm-hmm.
guys haven't made a broom or you've thought about taking a broom making class, now is the time to do it. There are also YouTube videos because that is really good thing to make during this time. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that you can do with that. You could do a balancing spell if things have felt out of balance for you. Harness the balanced energies of the autumnal equinox. Again, we have male and or masculine and feminine energies balanced right now. We have light and dark balanced right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time to get back to that middle grounding area.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one that I have for that is journaling, man. Start your gratitude journals to help you stay in a practice of gratitude throughout the rest of the year, especially as it gets cold and we get the seasonal depressives for some of us.
Right, right.
It can help you to stay grateful for the things that you've had. You can look back on it, read something that you've wrote in there and be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that happened and that's something I'm grateful for." So now's a good time to start reflecting and doing that kind of journaling work.
That's really good because, like, being grateful is such a big thing when you're manifesting for your mental health, like all that stuff. It helps. It's such a little thing to do. And I think we obviously take it for granted
Mhm.
because we're so caught up on like complaining that
Yeah.
having gratitude for stuff it really helps with a lot of things.
Well, and it's such a simple way to raise your vibrations. Like, think about it. You're
Hmm.
seasonal depressive. Your vibration's not going to be great, man. Your energy's not going to be great. That's
Right.
such a simple, easy thing to do that can boost your energy, bring your vibrations back up. Like, raise your, raise your spirit.
Raise your energy, raise your spirit, right? Raise your
Yeah,
vibration.
raise vibrations.
Well, and that's the thing, especially as we go into the darkness, we want, we I know like lately cuz I've been dealing with depression and I've been trying to really sit and hone with it. So that way instead of resisting it cuz that's usually what I do and pretend like it doesn't exist. Mhm. So then like sitting with it even for 5 minutes, like sometimes and I know I look funny, but at this point I don't care. But I would sit there, and I remember just sitting there while I had some time by myself and just, like, hunched over and, like, fully into it, and then, like, kind of pull myself back out, just allowing it to be there. So
Yeah,
even, like, seasonal depression, if you're depressed, give yourself 5 minutes just to feel depressed.
yeah,
Just feel it. Feel it hurt, feel where it is in your body, say hi to it. Maybe it just needs some acknowledgement. But then, like, set a timer and just do a little bit and then go around for the rest of your day. It'll really help with you connect with your body, your energy, and when you resist it, it persists. And when it persists, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is the thing when it starts to come out sideways and you start yelling at somebody close to you about how they left something on the floor instead of like, oh, I'll just pick that up for you. Right?
Yes, absolutely. It's making me think. So it's funny enough that Nicole finds books and then I started with her, and right now we're both in this book, starting this new healing practice. And it's a book by Tsultrim Allione, and it's called Feeding Your Demons. That I would strongly recommend to those that listen. And we've been going through all this to start this book because hot damn baby. This is
Oof.
a good time to do it because
Absolutely.
it's a different way of being thankful for the things that you have essentially and the who you are. It's a good one to start now. That's why I was saying it's funny that we started this during this time it came to
Mm-hmm.
us because
Mm-hmm.
it's a good one. So I will put that in the comments if you guys would like to read that book or listen to it with us as well, because I think I'm only on chapter 2 and I don't know where you're at, but
I think I'm at 3. I think I'm at 3 because
yeah.
she's actually putting down how to do it.
Yeah, so we're still in the beginning bits of this book, and I think
Mm-hmm.
this book is going to be a really good one, a hard one, but a good one.
It's a really nice way of accepting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like right now, I know I'm actively trying to integrate my madness. I realized not too long ago that like the one thing that I am repressing is anger, madness, craziness, anything that is negative in society. Like I'm not supposed to be frustrated, I'm not supposed to be angry, I can't be mean. Um, these type of things, right? And that I've realized lately of late is that it's a very strong energy within me. So my spices are not integrated into my full being. My spices are being left outside of my soup.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to integrate my spices back in there because once they're integrated, they won't be so spicy,
Right,
right? They'll
right.
actually come with being a little more sovereign of a being. And when I give advice or when I'm helping people through life, I can give them it in a way that is authoritative but not hurtful,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. This book is really good so far, you guys. Both Nicole
Mhm.
and I cried in the second chapter,
Oh my
not
god.
together, separately, because I listened to it on Audible. I think you do as
Uh-huh. I
well,
do
and
too.
just know it's a good book. I think that this is a great time to do stuff like this.
Mhm.
Like we said, integrating the darkness. You can't have light without the dark. There it is.
Mm-mm.
And vice versa. So
Yeah,
I
because
think it'd be a good
the more
time.
you ignore it, the stronger it gets, the more it'll be hard to control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the only other thing I have is we usually give you guys some symbols for your altars and things to decorate your house with, and that's just think fall colors. Like we said, apples,
Mhm.
pine cones, pomegranates, oak leaves are huge, so is sage right now. Some crystals would be
Mhm.
hematite amber, some incense or smells would be myrrh and sage, and then some animals are owls, dogs, wolves. There was a few more, but yeah, that's kind of all I got on the autumnal equinox.
I think that's great. Yeah. It's a super simple like call it Mabon, call it Audible Equinox, whatever fits your fancy. We're cool with it.
Yeah, I won't
Um
judge you.
it's really, it really is comes down to the fact that you're spiritually connecting with your spirituality and it gives you a space, it holds a container that you can do it in. And that's really well it is. We don't need to judge or shame other people for whether they're saying it wrong or whether they're not practicing it the way you do. We really don't need to do that. If we're strong in our own being and our own um I don't know, principles, I guess. Like we wouldn't have to even just being confident in what you are practicing. You don't have to go around pointing fingers at other people just because they're not doing it right.
Right. Well said. Yeah, I personally love that this holiday was created. I don't care who created when it was created. I like it. I like the
Mhm.
idea of a witch's Thanksgiving. I like fall. I'm ready for fall. I
I
love
do too.
pumpkins. I love apples. I love this holiday.
Oh my God, that's so yeah. Next year after this one, we're going to set our intentions to make a witch's Thanksgiving.
We're gonna host a witch's Thanksgiving.
I think it'll be cool.
I think so
Hopefully
too.
we can get like a garden done if we've got this much time to think about it in the winter so that when April comes, we can like get a whole garden and that way what will feed the bounty will be this garden.
I was gonna say I have cucumbers for everybody if we want to
Yeah.
just eat cucumbers and dill and I have a ton of basil. I'm sure that will be very filling. We can make you can have, some cut out cucumbers as a one side dish, and the main course will be a bowl of basil leaves.
A
It's gonna
bowl
be
of basil.
phenomenal. And we'll sprinkle some dill on there and you'll be good to go.
Done. Done.
Done. Done. Sounds great.
Amazing. Amazing.
I promise we can cook.
Just yes, we can cook, I swear. Well, at least the baby can.
I was
I don't
gonna
know.
say, honestly, you guys, hopefully we could do this and have some people over that are interested in hanging out with us from the podcast. That would be really cool too.
Mhm.
But just know that when this happens, we have the best mini chef you will ever experience in your life.
Mhm.
And you will be questioning what she put in the food, and she won't be able to tell you because she goes purely off intuition.
Because she's a kitchen witch.
She is a kitchen witch. She is a food witch.
Uh-huh.
You will
That's for
never
sure.
want to leave the house because she's
That
so good.
Taurus and Venus. Oof.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I think that's it for this episode, you guys. I hope you guys have a good autumnal equinox. Granted, this episode again will be coming out early, but we wanted to get you guys ready for the holiday that's coming up, just to at least get you guys in the mood of thankfulness and gratitude, you know?
Yeah, and only if it's only like get an orange candle, you can do that. If you only have a white one, do a white one. Don't get hung up in the things.
Yeah.
Just celebrate it. Oh, somebody did say this is a really good time to start getting and if you want to, your ancestral
Oh,
altar up and set up. And this could be anywhere from like bloodline ancestrals, or chosen family
ancestral
ancestral. Um,
ancestors.
it could be just if you want to do just deities, you could do just deities. Do what you, but honor, set a place and honor somebody above you that has either passed on, somebody that's no longer in the 3D, and give them a little food.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe some alcohol if they so choose.
They do like the spirits.
They like the spirits because
They
they are
do.
spirits.
The
Ha ha,
spirits.
funny.
Ha ha, funny.
All right, peeps. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, heathens.